Hello and welcome to the Dinette, and I have perched myself here for this video because I have many things around me that I will need to bring up and show you during the course of the video. What a year it's been, blooming awful year in so many different ways, and particularly as we are coming up to Christmas, my thoughts turn to the many people who've been furloughed or made unemployed even, particularly if they are freelancers or sole traders or micro businesses of one form or another, because those kind of folk won't have the resources and the backup of bigger companies to keep themselves going. And many people ask me, how do people support themselves living on a boat? And one of the answers for very many boaters is they are micro businesses. A lot of very arty, crafty people live on boats, and they make paintings, and they make arts and crafts, and they sell them. And so I thought I would do a video highlighting some of, and it can only be some of, the many things you can buy from a boat. And if your thoughts are also turning to Christmas and you'd like to get some different and unusual gifts from a boat trader that have been lovingly crafted, then I know that everyone featured, and a lot of the traders that I won't be able to feature, would be very grateful for your custom. Now, I mentioned I can't fit everyone in. There's just so many people selling stuff on a boat. There is a Roving Canal Traders Association. The traders rove, not the association, and they have a directory listing all of their members. So if nothing that I'm going to show you takes your fancy, go and have a look at the Roving Canal Traders Association directory. I will leave a link to it in the video description below, and there's hordes of traders there. Not everyone is a member of that, of course. Some people just do their own thing. A lot of them put on Twitter the goods they're selling, and they will put the hashtag buy it off a boat. So if you're on Twitter, you can go and look for sellers there. But what I'm going to present to you is just a handful of items that are typical of the kind of thing that people are creating from their boats, and hopefully they will be of interest to you. Let's start with art. Now, art, of course, is a much subjective thing, and when I see something I like, I go, I like that, and by heck, do I like this painting from Paul Smith Story, who you may know from the YouTube Narrowboat Life Unlocked. He's actually a magician, and then he's also got a career as an artist, and holy moly, this man knows how to draw. Now, just for example, I'm going to pop up a picture that I drew on my iPad. The BBC recently did a life drawing programme where you were encouraged as the audience to draw along, and this is my version of the naked lady with the cello. Quite clearly, I have the graphic skills of a 3-year-old child. Paul, on the other hand, can draw. I love this. It is so detailed. It's just, I like my art to be what I call real things. The abstract stuff doesn't really do it for me. But this is amazing. And he's got several more on his website. There's a beautiful one of a kingfisher. There's a lovely one of some ducklings perched on a log. So if this kind of thing takes your fancy, it's printed out on really nice quality paper, and he sells the prints. I presume he sells the originals as well for a higher price. The collection's fairly small at the moment by his own admission, but he's drawing more all the time, and that is Paul Smith Story, Narrowboat Life Unlocked. Paul's Art is the name of the website. Again, link to that in the video description below if you fancy a rather exquisite bit of drawing like this. Many people have asked me why I don't have a dog or cat aboard the boat. I love dogs and cats. I would love a pet, but at the same time, it's just not really practical or feasible for me to do so. But many boaters do have dogs, and for them, and for people living in houses who have dogs too, I present Zoe Marsden's dog collars. Now, these are leather dog collars. There's all kinds. I'll show them individually. And she hand paints them. Look at this. Really intricate, lovely work, hand painted with, I think it's enamel paints, and then there's a clear coat, 2 coats of clear coat over the top so as to keep it in good condition. They were intended mostly for sight hounds, she says, but other dogs can wear them. And as you can see from this one, there's a nice padded bit on the back of the collar as well, so it's nice and comfortable for the dog to wear. There's that one, and there's this one again, all this really intricate hand painted design. How she manages to do that and not slip, I cannot fathom. And there's a little tiny one here as well. She also does similar sort of thing with upcycled handbags. She'll paint designs on them. She takes custom commissions. So if you have a dog, you know someone who's got a dog, you'd like to buy them a hand-painted dog collar for Christmas, Zoe Marsden would be pleased to hear from you. And again, the link to her Etsy shop is in the description below. One of the other things that many people ask me is, what maps do you use on your boat? And also, when people catch a glimpse of the map in the engine room, they say, where did you get that map from? And the answer is, it came with the boat. I have no idea where you buy it. But were I to be looking for a map to go in my engine room today, I can tell you exactly where I would go, and that is Joe and Michael. You will know them as Minimal List, perhaps from their YouTube channel, because they have produced this splendid tube style, London Underground style map of the UK inland waterways, all the navigable waterways. And as you can see, they're colour coded, it's easy to follow, shows you everything. There's a portrait version like this, they do a landscape version, they've also done a close-up version of the Birmingham Canal navigations, the BCN, all this complex network in the middle. Joe spent hours, weeks on this, just making sure that every last detail was right and all the spellings were right and no colours were duplicated or anything silly. Weeks and weeks of effort went into these. And again, if you know someone who's got an interest in the canals, this would make a fine present, I can't help feeling, or a sneaky present for yourself as well. Now, Joe and Michael sell through another shop that I'm going to come to later on, Art by Anna Marie. Just for logistical reasons, it was easier to put their stuff up for sale on this other website, so don't be confused by the title. You can get these on the Art by Anna Marie website. Again, link in the description, and I'll also put a link down to Minimal List's page on their website, which talks about the maps as well. My next trader I first met, I think it was in my first year of cruising. Yes, it must have been, I think, 2016, when I went through Hawkesbury Junction, which is a popular place for narrowboat traders to moor up and sell their goods to passers-by. There were a few of them when I went through Hawkesbury, and one of them was showing off all this metalwork and interesting sculptures made out of metalwork, like spark plugs from engines and engine bits and things like that. And they are Reverie Canal Trading. Well, they've got two boats, in fact. I think one's a butty boat and one's a power boat, both very historic. I think they live aboard the one, but they've got so much stuff now, they've set up a workshop as well on land, and no surprise when you see the kind of stuff they do with CNC, plasma cutting, all kinds of stuff with metalwork. But I've got some of the smaller examples to show you. For example, Christmas is a-coming. How about a reindeer bauble, which is rather nice. Doesn't have to be on your Christmas tree. You could hang this anywhere. Up on a boat. Very pleasant. I think it's made out of, they did tell me, I should know this. I think it's made out of stainless. Is it stainless? It's made out of metal. Anyway, they've also sent me this rather nice Spitfire, which is on what I believe to be an actual bit of a jet engine turbine blade, which I just think is awesome. Yeah, and that's a Spitfire flying over the top of it. Nice desk ornament for your busy executive. And then this is very, very fine indeed. I rather like this. I'm trying desperately to think of somebody I could give this to. Kingfisher keyring hanger thing. So Kingfisher on a branch with 4 things to hang your keys on and pre-drilled holes so you can just screw it straight into your wall. They do all kinds of stuff. They take commissions, they make pieces that they sell as is, like these ones. That's Reverie Canal Trading. They've got quite a presence on Instagram if you want to go and look them up there. But as always, I'll leave a link down below. You're going to perhaps need to lean in a little towards your screen to see this small but beautifully formed item here from Narrowboat Sunbeam. This is hand carved from wood, and as you can see, it is an acorn with its leaf. And what's particularly interesting about all their wood carvings is that it's not just any old bit of wood. They make them from reclaimed wood either that they found lying alongside the canal, or, as is the case with this one, this is actually made out of wood that was once a canal lock gate, which I just think is awesome. That was once an actual working lock gate, and they've carved it out by hand, and they've got all sorts of different designs, a lot of sort of tree focused ones. They've got some swimmers, very nicely sculpted little swimmers, and pendants, and acorn earrings, things like that. Again, go and look on the website, a whole load of different things there. But it's just a very nice touch, I think, that the wood is reclaimed either from the canal side or even from a lock gate. So a nice little gift. They're from Narrowboat Sunbeam. For the next trader, we turn back to art, and again it's a case of art is subjective. You either like stuff or you don't like stuff. Well, I happen to very much like both this painting and also the subject of the painting. I am a fan of octopuses, octopi, and may I present to you Kevin the octopus, painted by Elizabeth Earle, not to be confused with the cosmetics manufacturer Lisbeth, who was once upon a time featured on one of the popular sailing channels, but is now back in the UK, having her own rather compact fiberglass cruiser, completely gutted, stripped out and rebuilt to her own spec. But while that is being done, she supports herself as an artist and book author, and this is, I would say, fairly typical of her style. Let me show you a couple of other bits. She does these rather nice bookmarks as well. These are all hand painted, these bookmarks, with a bit of, I say gold leaf, I don't know if it's actually gold, but it's gold coloured leaf, whale tail there, and then another one, and this particular, the style of the waves is very characteristic of Lisbeth's stuff with the boat on it. So a variety of different designs. There's prints, paintings. She does some very abstract stuff as well. Go and have a look at her Instagram, where she posts up a lot of stuff, and if you want to help support her and help support get her boat back in the water, I know she would be very grateful as well. She's also got the latest of her books. I think it's a trilogy. This is either the third, or she may have even gone now to the fourth in the trilogy, in the classic Douglas Adams way. That's about to be published, I think, about a character called Maddox Black. Anyway, I'll let you go and look those up on the website. I mentioned earlier the website artbyannamarie.com, which is, of course, Anna and Kath, the Narrowboat Experience, my good friends. You may recall that Anna did this rather splendid painting for me the very first time we met. I remember it well, down on the Grand Union Canal at Stoke Bruerne is when I got to see them for the first time, and they very kindly gave me that. And Anna does watercolour paintings, she does commissions, she'll do your family pet, she'll do your family portraits, anything basically, as well as lots of canal scenes. And they've currently got some Christmas cards. Now, I've ordered some of these, but the Royal Mail have let me down and haven't actually delivered them at the time of filming this. But I suddenly discovered I had two still left over from last year. So there is one of the cards. I don't know if the scenes are the same this year or if they're new, but they're Narrowboat there, and you know, it's a nice quality card actually. You know, you get some Christmas cards and they're just cheap tack. This is actually really nicely done. Good solid card. I think anyone will be very pleased to receive one of these Christmas cards. That's another narrowboating scene. So they've got a new pack of Christmas cards out, and they've also got the pin badges. You'll have seen these if you've seen my cruising videos. I had them on my baseball caps. So there's a Narrowboat one, and there's Alice and Munchie, who are their cats, and then we've got this Don't Forget Your Windlass badge. Now, they've got loads of different designs, including some Christmas themed ones. These sell out very fast, but they do get new orders of them, new stocks in as soon as they can. But I'll leave a link to their shop. It's Art by Anna Marie, and that is also where, as previously mentioned, you can buy the Minimalist Canal map. There are 2 vendors left in this quick roundup of just some of the stuff you can buy off a boat. And one thing I've been meaning to buy myself for a very long time is a windlass holder, because when I'm trying to get off the boat, up a lock ladder, carrying a windlass, sometimes carrying the camera and carrying the centerline as well, it's a bit dodgy, frankly, and really I ought to put the windlass somewhere, like a windlass holder printed with the Cruising the Cut logo. Oh yes, this is from Cruising Crafts, and they do all sorts of handy leather goods. The idea is you hang this on your belt, and then you can just pop your windlass in there, and then you've got your hands free, in my case, to hold the rope and the camcorder. So it's still a bit dodgy, but I must see if they can do me a camcorder holder or something. But that's really nice, and they'll I don't know how this is done, presumably burnt into the leather with some magic machine, but they'll take any image you have and put it on there, your logo, your name, your boat's name, anything like that. That's rather neat. And then the other thing, I mean, they've got many products, but in the samples I've got here, made out of horseshoes. I looked at this and I thought, that's a wonderful piece of art, that is. And then I asked them about it and they pointed out it's not really a piece of art, it actually has function. This is a Wellington boot remover. And the idea is you put it down and then you can imagine this is my foot with the Wellington boot on it. You can lever the boot off without having to get your hands mucky or muddy, and just lever the boot off. I will demonstrate with the aid of my slippers. And that is from Cruising Crafts, and they've got mugs and they've got luggage tags and all sorts of other designs as well. And the final product, which I cannot physically show you because it does not physically exist, it is an electronic book. In fact, it's soon to be 2 electronic books. I could not possibly let this go without mentioning this. It's the cookbook from the Narrowboat chefs, Ryan and Maggie and Pixel the dog. And you may recall they came and taught me how to make scones a long time ago. And hey, they were good scones. And they published a recipe book, it was a while ago now, I think, and it's got lovely, easy to make recipes, unless you are an incompetent like me, but still easy to make. And they are just about to publish a second e-book as well. So if you fancy some cooking, perhaps you're going into lockdown, blimey, and you need something to keep yourself busy, or you just fancy some nice warming food over the winter months, unless of course you're on the other side of the world when it's summer. You get the gist. Anyway, they've got another cookbook coming out, and I would recommend it highly, because frankly, if they can get me cooking, they must be good. So I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Right, that is it. I say again, this was obviously a very brief and flavour, a roundup of the kind of things you can get from boat traders, but everyone featured here, all the others out on the Canal Network, would be delighted if you can take a look at their websites, have a look at their stuff, help support a small, not really local is it, but it's kind of local in mindset, they're local to us because we love them, business, and hopefully get some really nice gifts for yourself, your family, your friends, and so on. Thank you so much for watching, and cheerio.